sorry. I thought I spoke loud enough. Anyway, sorry about that. We do have a quorum and declare the notice legally were posted and as per the Open Meeting Act. Okay? And with that, we're going to do the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Sammy, would you do the honor, the invocation, please?
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the blessings that you give us, and we thank you for watching over us and be with us now as we do the business of our city, that we may think of the people and of the good of everyone here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So the next item is citizens' comment. Do we want to wait or do we?
Usually,
We wait.
report and the
Yeah, go
citizens are
ahead.
allowed to speak.
Okay, Casey's going to do the report. Thank you, Casey.
Meeting minutes.
Oh, where is it?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Where are they?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay. So the next item is that you're gonna discuss for us so that we don't do the public hearing yet until you make your report, Casey? How do we want to do this?
Usually you read the agenda item, discuss and take possible action,
Yes, okay, I'll go ahead.
and then after you open the public hearing, then I'll speak.
Okay, I'm trying to discuss and take possible action on the questions of declaring building and improvements located in the following real property line and situated within the corporate limits of the city to be a dangerous, unsafe building, and for entry of an order of
Condemnation.
condemnation.
Okay.
Hey, guys, I just went to, they gave me a old people test just yesterday, and they said I was doing good. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead. The description is, legal description is Block 7, Lot 1, single-family residence structure. The address is 1130 West 9th Street. Okay?
And then open the public hearing.
So now I'm going to go ahead and open the public meeting. What time is it? 6:02. Okay. Where am I? Okay, so I'll go ahead and call for Casey to give us a report or update us on what's going on.
Thank you. First, I wanted to just run through, we do have a couple of members that weren't at the last meeting, so I just wanted to briefly run through the kind of the procedures and how dangerous structures are determined. These are the 3 code references, so it is governed by the Texas State Local Government Code, our Freeport Code of Ordinances, and also the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code. These are direct citations from each of those codes, and it basically talks about the minimum standards that are for continued use of buildings. The main thing here are part of your responsibilities, whether you can order it to be repaired, whether you can be ordered to be vacated and secured, or whether you're going to order a demolition. So there are certain markers that you have to meet. In any case where a building is 50% or more damaged, it shall be demolished. And in all cases where a building cannot be repaired, then it is supposed to be demolished, and that means complete and total cleaning of the property. So just to give you an idea of your timelines, if a building is found to be dangerous, standard is 30 days to secure and repair or demolish. Reason being, an owner has the right to file an appeal in district court, and they have 30 days to do so. So that is the minimum amount of time to give the city time to take action. We could legally come in on day 31 and enforce a repair or demolition, but we have to give them a minimum of 30 days. If they want more than 30 days, we can give them up to 90 days, but they have to establish a specific timeline for the work to be started, what kind of work you're going to perform, whether it is demolition or repair, and then the owner has to secure the building in the meantime. If you're going to give them more than 90 days, they have to come and give you a very specific detailed plan. They have to show, cause here at the hearing. They have to submit progress reports to the building official throughout the repair process. And then you can also order that they come back to each meeting and give you updates, pictures, to show that they are keeping their word and following through on your order. This is just to show you, by the time these properties come to this board, most of the time they are years in the making. We start with a very basic code enforcement certified letter, calling the owners, dealing with the owners. Our minimum process for a code enforcement case is 45 days to 2 months. We have to send them a certified letter. We have to wait till the green card comes back. We have to give them minimum 10 business days. Sometimes it's 30, depending on what the case is. It's a very, very long legal process. So by the time we get to the board, you'll notice it's in bold, the whole public hearing. We have extended quite a lot of money, time, and effort to get here. Many times we've written citations to the property owners trying to gain compliance, but all a citation does is cost them money, and it does not get the property taken care of. And really our ultimate goal is compliance. We either want it cleaned up and repaired or demolished if it is just too dangerous. So this just kind of gives you a checklist of the items that we go through. So the first item on agenda tonight is 1130 West 9th. This is a single-family structure. This has been going on since 2020, and it has become really a hot topic. It's been all over social media, lots of complaints from the neighbors. We've had complaints directly from the police officers. We have sent all the certified letters. We've posted the notices on the doors. What the issue is, the owner is deceased. She passed away. She has 2 sons, and neither one of them want to maintain the property. One lived there for a little while but doesn't live there anymore. And then there's another son that lives out of state. And Patty recently talked to him, so it's Mike and Kevin Hanzik. And then Patty spoke with Kevin on 8/24, and he said he is in support of the city demolishing the house. They don't have the money to take care of it, and it's fallen apart. It's just become a junkyard. And for us, the biggest concern, that bottom left picture, there is a daycare immediately across the street. That picture was taken standing in the front yard of that house, and there are a lot of concerns. There's a lot of kids in that neighborhood, and there's a lot of things on this property that are very dangerous.
Can I ask a question? Whose name's on the title or on the deed on this? Who?
It is still the original owner.
Yes, Jan Hanzik.
And she's passed away?
Yes, ma'am.
So they haven't done anything with the estate, it's just...
No, it's still in her name.
So would that be an issue,
No. So when it goes to the estate, so we take an extra step. We actually file a title search, and we pay for a full title search that every lien holder, every person who's got a hand on that property, and we send certified letters to each and every one of them. So even if there were other heirs, we would find that in the title search, and they've all been notified. So we make sure to dot our I's and cross our T's when it comes to these. Yeah, she was, as Patty just said, she's the only one that was listed in the title search. And that happens a lot. When you have someone pass away without a will, it just stays in their name. And then if no one wants to pursue it, that's probably our hardest cases. We had one the last time. It sits and it rots, and the city has to step in and end up demolishing because no one wants to take responsibility for the property. And that's really what has happened here. They don't have any utilities. There were some homeless people living there, and they were stealing utilities. The police have been called over 22 times in the last 2 years. There's been suspected drug activity. There's been theft of service. At one point, they had jumper cables attached to the electrical to try to steal the power. They had straight piped through, avoiding the water meter to steal the water. I mean, it's been a struggle. And I tell you, a lot of the neighbors have had a lot of concerns. They said, because it is homeless and vagrants, it's attractive nuisance to children. I mean, there's a lot more going on here than just the junk that you see. So getting into the property itself, like I said, we've had over 30 complaints. And this particular one, we are going to ask for a demolition because the entire property and all the contents are going to have to be removed. So let's go through. Just to reiterate, so the International Property Maintenance Codes adopted by the city, we're under the 2015 code, and there is a very specific checklist of 10 items. And if any one of those items is applicable, then the building is to be considered dangerous. So it's like a checklist, and if any one of them is dangerous, the whole building is dangerous. In the ones that we bring before you so far, we have 10 items on every single one. So going through that list, the first time I will read each one, and then I'll kind of highlight from then on. So 108.1.5 of the dangerous structure premise, and for the purpose of this code, any structure or premise that have any or all of the conditions or defects described below shall be considered dangerous. Number 1 is any door, aisle, passageway, stairway, exit, or other means of egress that does not conform to the approved building or fire code of the jurisdiction as related to the requirements of this building. There is no egress through this building. I actually had to walk in the front door. I could take about 2 steps. I took pictures, then I had to walk out, go around to another door, take about 2 steps, take some more pictures, go out, come in through another door. There's not an egress path through this house at all. It's so full of junk, trash, and debris. And again, I really wish that there was something that could record smells for you, because there's no electricity in here. It's very hot. And I will tell you, as a side note, I heard noises when I first walked in. There was a vagrant in a back room who did not identify himself. Luckily, we always call the police for an escort. We had to have him leave, just a homeless person squatting there. On the other side of the house, I heard other noises, and there were 3 small cats that had been trapped in the house, and they were just pitiful. I mean, covered in mange and fleas, and we called animal control, and they came and took them away. But, so homeless people were in there, animals were in there. It was a bad, bad situation, and smelled absolutely horrible because the homeless people were using the bathtub as a toilet. I'm going to spare you that picture. Let's see.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go inside. I just went walked around the premises of it.
I tell you, it was really bad. It was a very hot day, so the smells were much worse. Item number 2 is walking surfaces of any aisle, passageway, stairway, or exit, or other means of egress that's warped, torn loose, or torn so it doesn't provide a safe and adequate means of egress. So you can just tell the platforms outside the doors, they're blocked. You're supposed to have a 3-foot by 3-foot landing anytime you exit a building, and these don't. You would just basically face plant when you come out of these buildings. It almost looks like at one point it had been remodeled to be a duplex, and then they turned it back into a single-family home. It's very odd the way the doors are. So it's a little misleading when you look at it from the outside, but it is a single-family home. Item number 3 is any portion of the building, structure, or appurtenance that has been damaged by fire, earthquake, wind, flood, deterioration, neglect, abandonment, and vandalism, or any other cause to such an extent that it's likely to partially or completely collapse or to become detached or dislodged. And you find that all throughout the structure. One of the things, it's harder to tell from the side, but the foundation has sunk on one side. So it's level in some areas, and then it's on the ground in some areas. There's siding coming off, the roof's coming off. You can see that's the second picture is the doorway. There's a lot here that has become detached and dislodged. Number 4 is any portion of the building or any member, appurtenance, or an ornamentation on the exterior that is not of sufficient strength or stability. It's not anchored, not attached or fastened in place so as to be capable of resisting the natural or artificial loads of 1 1/2 the original design value. So what you're looking at here is anything that can become dislodged. You're thinking windstorm. In the event of a hurricane or a wind, something that can blow off of the building. There is a lot of the siding that's loose. You can see the rotten eaves that are coming loose on the building itself. And also in the center picture, you can see that the post that is used to hold up the roof and portion of the porch is dangling precariously. It's just stuck to the side on a concrete block. It's not even over the porch itself. Item number 5 talks about the building or structure or any part of it that is because of dilapidation, deterioration, decay, faulty construction, the removal or movement of some portion of the ground, or any other reasons likely to partially or completely collapse. And this really talks about the portion of the foundation or underpinning of the building or the structure that's likely to fail or give away. As you can tell on the left, you can see a very clear clearance, and then on the right, it's almost on the ground. So there is, and also, again, these are the hard things to describe to you. As you're walking through what little portion of the house you could get in, you're walking down. The foundation is obviously sunk into the center of the house. And this is what I was trying to walk through, so it's very hard to show you how the floor is sunk when you really can't even see the floor. And this is every room in the house. It was very difficult to walk through. And to be honest, for my safety, I only stepped about 2 or 3 steps into each room and just took some pictures. And item 6 does talk about the building or structure or any portion thereof is clearly unsafe for its use and occupancy. This is not a habitable space. And it's not just about the junk in the room, because that was something I was paying close attention to. If this property could be cleaned, would it still be a safe structure? And in my opinion, it is not. There was enough foundation issues, roofing issues, like I said, the smell, the decay, there's a lot of plumbing and electrical issues. And so just from what I could see, this is not a safe structure, even if the debris had been removed. Item number 7 talks about the building or structure is neglected, damaged, dilapidated, unsecured, or abandoned so as to become an attractive nuisance to children who might play in the building or structure to their danger, and it becomes a harbor for vagrants, criminals, or immoral persons, or enables persons to resort to the building or structure for committing a nuisance or an unlawful act. As I said, when I walked in there was a homeless person. There were 3 police officers on site with us. I got to speak with them several times in great detail. There's been a lot of drug activity in that home. They've been called by the neighbors to chase people away. There's been several accusations, but you can just tell from the smells and what's been going on in that home. And like we said, the bottom picture is a picture of the daycare that's across the street, and also the picture immediately to the left, again, shows you how close it is. And not just the daycare, right behind the daycare is a public playground. I mean, the neighborhood kids play here all the time. And this is wide open. I was able to walk into every room, and I didn't have to break in at all. I mean, like I said, there was vagrants in there as well, but the doors were open, unlocked, the windows were open. It was very easy to access. It is not secure in any way. And as you can see, these pictures don't even show it justice. The amount of debris alone is dangerous. I'm worried about kids even walking across that yard. There are tanks of propane tanks out there. There are, trash, building debris, materials. You shouldn't even go on that property if you don't have a tetanus shot. Item number 8 is any building or structure that has been constructed, exists, or is maintained in violation of any specific requirement or prohibition applicable to such building or structure provided by the approved building or fire code of the jurisdiction, or any law or ordinance to such an extent as to present either a substantial risk of fire, building collapse, or any other threat to life and safety. This one is all of the above. Every dangerous structure that we go across, I always consult with the fire marshal. I give him the address. I welcome him to come along on the inspections. And to be honest, most of them like this when he drives by and he's like, go ahead, that's a no-brainer. One of the things that we do in cooperation with the other departments in our city, if you'll notice in that upper left-hand corner, is that bright red sign. That is a sign to our police officers and our first responders, do not risk your safety. This building is so bad that if a fire were in it, that if you're sure that there's not a person in there, don't go in there. There's so much debris that it would be very easy for a police officer or a fireman to be trapped inside. So anytime something is so dangerous that we're worried about their safety, that's when you see that large red X. That's an extra step to make sure people know, do not go into this building. Item number 9 is a building or structure used or intended to be used for dwelling purposes. But because of the inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, decay, damage, faulty construction or arrangement, inadequate light, ventilation, mechanical or plumbing systems, or otherwise, is determined by the code official to be unsanitary, unfit for human habitation, or in such a condition that it's likely to cause sickness or disease. I'm sorry, I just realized, so by definition, I'm the code official. Here in Freeport, my title is the Director of Building and Code and Building Official. It's defined in the building code as well, and I apologize because normally I give a copy of my resume with all my qualifications as well for the Board of Adjustments. I did last year and I forgot to give it to y'all, so I will send it to you as well. But if you look at each one of these pictures, this definitely does. So I don't know why, but the P-traps have been removed from the plumbing system. And what that does is that's partly, I will be willing to bet that's some of the smell that you're smelling, because a P-trap is what keeps the sewer smells and the sewer gases from entering a home, and they've removed them. So you can very clearly smell the sewer gases. Sewer gases can actually kill you in a home. So that alone would be enough for it to be considered dangerous. But as you can see, there's a lot of other hazards. The plumbing's not piped correctly. The sewer's been backing up into the toilet and the sink, and the tub is being used as a toilet. There's also, like I said, they used jumper cables to connect the electricity. I mean, it's just, the entire place is unfit for human habitation in my determination. And number 10 is any building or structure, because of a lack of sufficient or proper fire-rated resistance construction, fire protection system, electrical systems, fuel connections, mechanical or plumbing systems, or any other cause determined by the code official to be a threat to life or health. There's a lot of rigging going on in this property. As you can tell, there's a lot of exposed wires that have been pulled out of the box to try to go to another junction box, bare wires exposed. If they did electrify this, someone could be very easily killed by touching any one of these bare wires. The water meter has been rigged so that they can steal water. The electrical wires are hanging out of the ceiling, hanging out of the walls. I mean, there's too many hazards to really count. So our recommendation is complete demolition of the dangerous structure. Now, per the definition, whenever you make the order, it is to declare the property and building to be dangerous and to order either the demolition or remediation within the number of days. We are asking for the minimum 30 days because of the daycare and the number of police calls. There's some other issues that we're dealing with the police officers. There's some junked vehicles that have to be removed separately. We're already dealing with auto repair people that we're trying to get someone to be able to come in and remove. There's just such a significant amount, but we can at least proactively start getting bids, and that way when day 31 comes, we can have them on site and have this removed, if that is what you choose. So at this point, we would like to invite anybody from the public to speak on this address. If you would like to, you can approach the microphone and state your name.
So my name is Steve Melaragno. I'm currently
Turn on the microphone. Sorry. There's a button on the side.
It? Okay. So my name is Steve Melaragno. I'm currently the president of the Columbus Club Association of Freeport. We're a 501c2 corporation, and we own the property that's on the entire south side of the 1200 block. And address 1216 West 9th is the building that has the daycare in it. So we operate that and take rent. The building's been vacant since before COVID. We had tenant changeover, but they never were able to start up because of COVID. So this group they're out of the Houston area, operate daycares up there. They operate some Christian-based programs to help homeless ladies and battered ladies. And so that's and also provide affordable daycare. So between ourselves and the tenant, we spent about $80,000 to get the property back to code and get to where it could have the occupancy permit and such, and working with the city. So they've signed a 5-year lease, and they plan on being there, and they've opened up, and they have some clientele, but, our concern, their concern is that it's going to inhibit and have an impact on their ability to continue to operate as a business and to stay in the area and provide a service to the area. So we would like to see you guys adopt the recommendation from the city to order its demolition, because we do see and we are actually one of the property owners that they've stolen water from. We've gone over there and found where they've gone over and, we actually had to do some plumbing stuff on, get rid of a faucet on the outside of the building on the front side and limit access to faucets, because we were on the ones they stole water from, So I appreciate it, and I hope you guys consider their recommendations. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Guys, do y'all have any comments up here?
Can't comment until after.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and go ahead and take action on,
I'd like to make the motion. I'll make the motion, we declare the building unsafe and be demolished within the 30-day limit that she's got to deal with.
I'll second that.
I will second that.
Okay, go ahead, and then Sandy. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, that was property number 2. Now we're going to go to property number 3, which is the legal district of Velasco Freeport, Block 3, Lot 3 residential property, Freeport single family residential structure. The address is 1313 West 10th, and property ID is 26442 in Freeport, Texas. So, do you want to?
Open the public hearing.
I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at this point. It is 6:26. Okay. So do you want to give us some insight?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is a different kind of structure. This is an accessory structure that was in the backyard at 1313 West 10th. So we are not asking, I want to be real specific and clear, we're not asking for demolition of the main single-family structure. This is only the building in the backyard. This was first brought to my attention. I was doing an inspection on the street over for a meter loop a year and a half ago. And when I was there, that property owner said, since you're here, can you turn around and look at this? And so there's chain link. It was very easy to see. We weren't trespassing. And he pointed out a dangerous structure in the backyard. And he said, can y'all please do something about this? It's falling down. It's going to ruin my fence. He had a lot of concerns. And so I asked Patty to, please open a case and start investigating that. According to our computer systems, there has been ongoing cases at this property since 2018, so that's about 5 years. The owner of the structure has been sent several notices to remove this, we refer to them as accessory structures. It appears like this had been an apartment at one time, but the owner started to demolish it. And so most of it has been removed, but now it's just been sitting unmaintained for quite a while. And so we're asking that they would complete the demolition. One of my concerns is that upper left-hand picture, there's a trampoline in the backyard. There's nobody living in the house right now, but with that trampoline in the backyard, that makes it an attractive nuisance and encourages kids to come and play, and that is a very dangerous structure that you see there. And that is about 20, 30 feet away from that building. Let's see. We always obtain an administrative search warrant. I didn't make that clear on the one before. We always have probable cause, go before a judge, get a warrant signed before we enter a property and inspect, make sure that we're doing everything legally. And I did declare it a dangerous structure on that date at the time when we were there. And we usually have a police escort at the same time. The notifications were all sent certified. I believe 6 of them were sent certified, or 7, and came back unclaimed. And then we also post everything in the newspaper, and we post the hearings as well and put notices of the property on the front door of the structure. Other violations on the property include overgrown grass, trash, and debris. There's a few code violations on the residential front structure, but like I said, we are not asking that that be included in the order at this time. This one's going to be a little bit different because it's, as they say, it's kind of a no-brainer. To be real clear, we would allow them to keep the concrete slab. Many homeowners will use a concrete slab as a basketball goal or parking. When you do a full demolition, you're legally not allowed because of our zoning laws. You have to leave a smooth, cleanable lot. You can't have a secondary structure without a primary structure. There's a lot of rules and regulations. But when you have a primary structure, you are allowed to leave the slab. So if they want to demolish and only leave the slab, we would be able to allow them to do that. Because the slab is somewhat good shape. They would just have to remove the bolts that are sticking up and becoming a tripping hazard. Like I said, this talks about, it's the same item of 10 checklist, but as you can see, all 10 items apply. You know, there's no safe egress. Really, the walking surfaces have already been destroyed. Things are already torn loose and damaged. Since I've already read through them in the other one, I'm not going to read through each and every one. It's obviously been deteriorated, it's been neglected and abandoned. And any portion that's not anchored, not fastened, you can tell very clearly. The building is decaying, faulty construction. And like I said, it clicks every box. It's just falling apart. And like I said, they have very clearly already started the demolition. It just needs to be completed. It's not safe for occupancy in any way, shape, or form. As you can see, some of the walls are just barely propped up. It has been neglected, and like I said, no one is currently living there. And each item does apply. It is a substantial risk of fire in the condition that it's in, and it is a threat to the life and safety of children around. As you can see, it's just barely propped up. It's inadequate for dwelling purposes. It is unsanitary, unfit for human habitation. Let's see, and like I said, every item, it doesn't even have the electrical mechanical systems anymore. Plumbing has been removed. So we are asking for demolition of the dangerous structure. We just ask that you're very clear in your order. At one point in my career, we almost had someone tear down a house they shouldn't have because we weren't clear enough. So I want to make very clear in your order that this is not for the primary structure, only for the accessory structure in the backyard. And so our recommendation is demolition of that dangerous structure. And we would encourage anybody in the audience to speak on behalf of this property at this time. Would you go to just introduce yourself and say your name into the microphone?
Hi. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm the owner of the house. So basically, it's me and my daughter alone. I work 7 days a week. I'm trying my best to save up money so I can rebuild the garage because it's my house, and all my stuff is inside the house still. So everything is covered happen. Everything is triple the price. Labor is more expensive. So it has taken me more time to be able to save up money. My son is an electrician. We were talking about it last month. He said that he's going to try to apply for a loan so he can help me out with that. And he also has contacts, electricians who can help us out. But like I said, the reason why I haven't been able to continue is basically the lack of money and resources. Is not the lack of willingness to do it, because it's my home, and I want to make it make it as good as it should be. I want to replace the siding in the entire house and the windows because it's an old house. We started inside. Inside we replaced everything, sheetrock, the floors. I was halfway done with the kitchen. I just need to, and I'm done with one bathroom. I still want one more to go because it's 2 bathrooms.
Ms. Vargas, I just want to clarify for you real quick. We're not trying to demolish the house, just the back.
I understand. It's just that it's overwhelming at times, the amount of money. And we're also trying to find the right people who can do the job. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but me and my daughter will go personally mow the yard, try to maintain it. We don't know how to weed eat, so sometimes I hire people who weeds the house. When I can afford it, sometimes I cannot afford it. So I'm trying the best I can. That's all I can say. I'm sorry about that. I have never tried to become a problem or create any problems. And the reason why I don't really like the return mail and all that is because I work all the time. And I go to the house, but I don't stay there all the time. So, you know, I just stay so busy, and sorry about that. So I don't know what else to say.
So you don't actually live in the house?
Well, we kind of do because
Back and forth?
we stay, but since he needs work,
Oh, okay.
sometimes we stay in another place because it's more convenient and it's closer to where I work. Also for my daughter, because, you know, if it was only me, I could stay there. But it's my daughter that
Yeah.
counts too. So I'm just trying to make her feel more comfortable.
So-
And I also have my pets, and I just want it to be, you know. And they also, when we moved to the house, they stole because we bought the house and it needed at all work. So we started working in the house, but somebody stole the main unit of the air conditioner. So we have no air conditioner in the house. We only have we have a few ACs. But that's not enough for the entire house. So during the summer, it's super, super hot. It's almost unbearable. Even if you have one room that is cooling, it's not enough.
Okay, now you don't want to demo the in the back, the structure you have there?
I brought several people to look at the structure, and several people told me that I have 2 solid walls, that is better for my, to rebuild and use those existing walls that are still standing there, so we can save up some money in the lumber and materials and all that. They suggested something else. They said it would be better for you to just tear everything down. So I don't know. I will have to give different opinions, maybe another 2 different contractors, and see what they say or what they think. So what is going to be more cost effective, maybe.
How long have you owned the property?
I think she was 6 years old when I bought it,
How old is she now?
and she's 15. So it's probably 9 years old. Yeah.
So was that structure sound when you bought it, or was it like that?
It was already deteriorating, but with all this rain, like in the last, not this year, but I think the years before, like the last couple of years, we had a lot of rain, and it just made everything worse. So it started falling apart real fast. But at the beginning, it wasn't so bad. It was standing up. It was rotting. So I was hoping I was gonna get to it. But we started working in the main house because that's a detached garage. So I wasn't too concerned at that time. But now it's looking worse.
In this 9 years, has anyone lived in it on a regular basis?
I don't know who lived in that house. My neighbors who have been living there longer than me, they said that there was people.
Since you've owned it, though?
I have lived in the house, yes, always.
full time?
Yes,
You're
It is mainly in the last months that I haven't been able to stay there regularly. Because I started having issues with one bathroom, and we could not take like showers. We only had one bathtub in one side, so it was easier just to stay somewhere else for a while. So that's why.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody has questions? No? Okay.
So I got a quick question, sorry, por favor. Right here. Right here in front?
Oh,
Over here, yeah. So how long do you think that it would take you to clean that up?
Well, cleaning is not the issue because we've been cleaning.
Well, I'm just saying to keep it from looking that way.
But like I was saying, different contractors told me not to tear down the whole building, just to rebuild. So I need to find out exactly how much it's gonna cost me to do that, or it will be just more affordable to tear it completely down. But But really, my wish is to rebuild. That's what I really want to do.
Anybody else have any comments?
I want to ask Casey a question about those walls. The walls look like they need to come down immediately,
They do.
you know, regardless of what the rest of the structure is.
So why,
So
why do you think they're saying because they're saying they're solid, completely solid, and they are solid.
Well, and per building code, when a building is damaged more than 50%, you have to recommend demolition.
But the
And
thing
this is
is-
far more than 50%. Now, what I will say, if a contractor is careful enough and they can salvage materials to be used when you don't have to destroy the materials. So if they could take the walls down, reuse some of the wood, I mean, sometimes people do salvage materials. So I would recommend if you have a contractor interested in that. But because of the over 50%, demolition is required by code.
But the thing is, it's like 2 rooms in one, because at one point it was one sunroom full of windows, so that side is completely almost gone. And then the garage had 3 walls and only 1 wall is missing. So I still have 2 walls. So I don't know if it's considered 50% damage because it's actually like two in one.
It's 100% damaged. So it's the percent of the building and the damage that it's caused. It's not saying that it's not standing, it's just the entire building has been damaged. Yeah, there's a large dead tree that fell and knocked down a portion of the building. But this, I would consider this 90% damaged. Because what you do, you go by the square footage of the building and how much is damaged, and every part of this building has been damaged. Like I said, they can allow to keep the slab so that you could rebuild, that is allowable.
Any more questions from, you got up here? No? So I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and then open again to take action on that property number 3.
It's been going on since 2018. Has been ample time for something to have been done. Just because of the financial implications on it, I'll make a motion that we give the 90 days to have the structure demoed and trash removed. And if not, move on from there.
We can't really hear you, Barry.
90 days
Okay.
to have the structure demoed and trash removed. And then if it hasn't been, then move on to the next step.
Okay. That's your motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay. So what else do we have here?
We always do updates at the end for y'all. I like to say, and I'm sorry I forgot, the most important person in this hearing is Patty Veazey. She does 90% of the work on these cases, and so this is all years of her hard work. When we come here, she's responsible for all the postings, all the mailings, all the notices, and of course Yvette handles the meetings. So I would like to thank both of them for the hard work they do. And I'm going to go ahead and give y'all some updates on some properties because I know we have some new members and you may not know what the board has ordered in the past. This is one of our outstanding orders. It's for 104 Mystery Harbor. The board had issued a repair order and giving them 180 days to get a permit, start repair. As of this date, the owner has not contacted us, he has not submitted anything, and the deadline's about to be up on September 19th. So I foresee us having to bring this back before y'all. Now, I will say, depending on how your orders are worded, sometimes we don't have to come back before you, kind of like the one you just issued. If after 90 days, they haven't, then we just move forward with demolition. So it really depends on what, each time you order, if they say, we want you to come back before the board and provide a report, then we contact the owner and give them the opportunity to do that. So in this one, I do believe the order gives us the right to just move forward and demolish when the deadline is up.
You said 104 Front Street?
Yes, 104 Mystery Harbor, not, yeah, and that one actually, let me back up one. That had to be readdressed. That's why we put the parcel number off to the side. It's been through several addresses. There was some confusion on neighboring properties, but this is the old brick building on Mystery Harbor Lane. It used to be, I think it was referred to as 100 at one point, and then our GIS property department just gave it the 104 address, but we're including the parcel ID on this one to make sure we don't tear down the wrong house.
Are you going to tear it down? That's what
We may have to if he doesn't do anything, because also one thing that came up, oh goodness, back up. One thing that did come up is that we discovered that it's actually over the property line. So it's on the neighboring property. So there's no way he could rebuild. He would have to remove and get the setbacks. And so there's more issues than I think he originally realized. So that might be why he just chose not to come in and get a, repair or permit. Oh, it ran all the way back, sorry. Is there a way I can? I'm going to jump out of this just real quick so we don't have to go through the whole presentation again. Forgive me. There we go.
Okay.
So 104 Mystery Harbor. The next update is 605 South Avenue H. The board also issued another repair order, but the owner has instead gone ahead and applied for a demolition. What seems to be happening is most owners don't realize how much prices have just tripled. It's ridiculous. Labor, materials, what used to cost, well, I'll be honest, to demolish this house used to cost $4,000, and it's costing me about $12,000 to $13,000 now. Everything has gone up. And so people are asking for repair orders, but when they really start contacting contractors and finding out costs, they're finding out it would be a lot cheaper to demolish and just build something brand new. And so, like I said, the last one was a repair order, and he didn't move forward. This was a repair order. He's not going to move forward. He's going to go ahead and tear it down. He's actually talked to me about building a nice small duplex on the property, which is allowed in that zone. So, just to keep going on, the next one is, this is just an update. So 1318 West 8th, the city went ahead and demolished. The deadline expired, and the city went ahead and demolished. So that's the before and after. 607 North Avenue F, the owners had asked for a timeline, for them to repair. It's supposed to be demolished by October 7th. They have come in, they have pulled their permits. We're hopeful that they're moving forward with that. 202 Front, this was another one that asked for a repair order and nothing has been done. The owner has not come in, they haven't asked for any permits, there's been no contact. And their deadline will be up in October 19th. And then the final one is 23 North Avenue F. This is another one. They asked for a repair order and nothing has been done. They were supposed to demolish the 2 accessory buildings by July 23rd. That was not done. And they have not even contacted us for permits, and they're supposed to have repaired it by September the 23rd. So we will probably be moving forward with demolition on that one. The order in this one does give us the opportunity to just go ahead and move forward without coming back to y'all. I will say, you're going to see us rather soon. We have several issues that have become before the board, but because anytime certain issues, we have to notify property owners within 200 feet of the property. We have to send notices. So we're going to have another Board of Adjustments meeting on September the 14th, which is just a couple weeks away. So if you can mark your calendars, and please note, we have, there is a variance that's being requested, and then also the theater, you gave them 30 days to come back to you with a timeline, so we're giving them the opportunity at that meeting to come back with the timeline. And there may be other things.
Real quick, what was the timeline for the theater? Do you remember?
We gave them 30 days to come back and give y'all a detailed timeline of
Okay.
how they were going to repair and what they were going to do.
And when does that expire?
So technically, the deadline has already expired. Mr. Duncan did send us an email with a list, but we have to send the notices, and he didn't get it in time for us to send the notices for the meeting, so that's why we had to put it off till the 14th.
Okay.
Yeah. We legally have to notify everybody and give them enough time to be here. And that's all we have for tonight, so we thank you very much for your
You
support.
guys have any announcements or anything y'all would like to say? No?
But Casey, on that, at 8th Street House, are you going to get that travel trailer moved off the street?
Yes, we are actually working with the police department. So part of the issue is it's no longer considered roadworthy. They've had 2 different auto repair people come, and neither one of them would touch it. But also, in the past, they didn't charge us anything. They would just take it because they could charge storage fees. So we're just going to have to name us a price that they're probably going to have to get a flatbed to pull it up on there, because I did consult with our city attorney, and he said we have to treat it as a junk vehicle. We can't just, because I asked him, could we have it torn down when the house is being torn down and then just hauled away? And he said, no, you have to treat it like a vehicle, and it has to be demolished by a licensed vehicle demolisher or towed by, so we're trying to find one that'll do it for us. And we can take care of that now, so Patty's actually been working on that. We don't have to wait for your deadline for a vehicle that's in the street. That violates state law, so we're taking care of that kind of separately. That's why I didn't really talk about the RV in the street, because we have the authority to take that away.
And that's very dangerous too, for
Yes.
kids, because it's just horrible.
And someone keeps stripping it, so
Yeah.
it looks worse and worse every day.
Yes. We're doing that when I went by there today. And I was
It's
overwhelmed.
awful. That's a part of our biggest challenge, because, the code enforcement process, like I said, we have to send certified letters, and we have to wait, we can't just rush. And when we write citations, if nothing happens, in this case, nothing happened, they didn't show up to court, it just sits there, and that doesn't get it cleaned up, that doesn't help us. So that's why y'all may see more cleanups come into the Board of Adjustments, because y'all have the power. Let's say the house looked fine, but there was a lot of junk in the yard. You do have the power to order a cleanup of a property, and if they don't clean it up within so many days, then the city could come in and clean it up, throw it in the dumpster and get rid of it and leave the house. So you have more powers and more options, but, and I hate to say it, but eventually there's probably going to be some properties like that we'll have to bring before you.
Yeah, because I asked the gentleman that I spoke with to come and plead his, telling me he could clean it up.
Right.
And I guess he didn't show up, so,
I asked him to when I went by today.
yeah. Yeah, he said you had gone by. But nonetheless, he leaves us no other option,
Right. And she has been working with them steadily for the past, 2-3 years?
Yeah,
Oh.
and the tickets were issued in January, and the judge just can't get him to court, so.
Yeah, there were, for the record, she said the tickets were issued in January, and the judge can't get them to court, so they can't order anything.
Yeah.
And even
I
then,
hope y'all be sure and make sure she understands what we did today, too. that
Yes, we
she
can,
has
and-
the 90 days. It's not right away, but she does have to make a move or something. And
Yes,
we
we
didn't
will.
just dump it off, but
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.